Does the continued international support for Israeli genocide of the Gaza population point to a cruel objective being pursued by the Israeli government and corporate interests? Does the installation of a new American military base 20 miles from Gaza not also expose the continued American support for this war? These are just some of the important points we will be discussing. We have to ask ourselves, do the undeveloped gas fields off the coast of Gaza play any role in the current Israeli-Gaza conflict? First, let's try and determine how important gas really is now that someone blew up the Russian gas pipeline supplying Europe with cheap gas. And also, the continued economic sanctions meant to be punishing Russia that seem to be hurting us more. This has to be playing a role in the future direction of global energy use. These aims are being achieved at a very high price for the Palestinians and are depriving them of their sovereign assets and forcing the rest of the world into a continued energy monopoly not beneficial to the net zero agenda we are being forced to accept. Gas is one of the main fossil fuels used to fuel the world's current energy needs these days. New discoveries of large gas fields off the coast of Gaza could play a crucial role in weaning the world away from coal and oil. Gas produces 40% less carbon than coal and is being hailed as a possible energy transition from oil and coal. Oil seems to be approaching its peak supply. In the USA and other economies around the world, it is becoming less economic to drill for deep shale oil as the investment to do so becomes less cost-effective. To combat this, governments and fossil fuel companies have concluded that LNG, liquid natural gas, could be a possible transition fuel that would help cut energy carbon emissions and let them remain in control of these resources and markets. We should really be transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable sources of energy. But international corporations controlling the world's energy costs, supplies, and resources have much invested in staying in control of the energy markets, and therefore economies of the world in line with their agenda to keep control of our energy use within their dictate while the world supposedly aims for net zero. Energy suppliers, it seems, are keen to exploit gas reserves and the monopoly it gives them financially and politically. The Palestinian Authority was granted the right to exercise sovereignty over its own maritime territory by the Oslo Accords held in Norway in 1993. In 1999, following the findings of the offshore natural gas, the Palestinian authorities gave the international consortium, British Gas, a 25-year 90% stake in a license to explore and develop any discovered fields and install the required infrastructure. British Gas discovered the existence of natural gas in the Gaza marine fields, 20 nautical miles off the coast of Gaza. Further exploration by British Gas through two successful wells, Gaza Marine 1 and Gaza Marine 2, determined the field could contain up to 1 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. But Israel has consistently blocked this development. The Palestinian Authority in 2002 gave British Gas proposals to develop a pipeline to a processing facility in Gaza. However, the Israeli state delayed the development, insisting the pipeline be routed to an Israeli-controlled port, and that Palestinians would have to supply Gaza Marine, surplus fuel to Israel at far below market price. When Hamas won the Palestinian legislative elections in Gaza in 2007, Israel established a militarized naval blockade prohibiting further offshore development. Around the same time, Yam Thetis, an Israeli gas consortium, challenged the awarding of the contract to British Gas, further delaying the process. In December 2008, in total contravention of international laws, Israel declared sovereignty over the Gaza marine area, and British Gas closed its offices in Tel Aviv. Royal Dutch Shell bought out British Gas's interests in the Gaza marine fields for $52 million in 2016. By March 2018, Royal Dutch Shell backed out of their investment, leaving the Palestinian authorities to search for a replacement company to develop the field. A United Nations Conference on Trade and Development in 2019 concluded that existing and potential Palestinian oil and natural gas reserves in the West Bank and Gaza could be developed for the benefit of the Palestinian people. The report cited that the Levant Basin province, comprising 83,000 square kilometers off the eastern Mediterranean Sea, with 122 trillion cubic feet of natural gas as one of the most important natural gas resources in the world. Even though these reserves lie under waters bordering occupied Palestine, Lebanon, and Egypt, Israel has arrogantly claimed sole access and profits from this find. While the Gaza Marine holds a natural gas volume that is notably lower than that of the Levant Basin, its advantageous proximity to the shore and shallower depth contribute to a more accessible and cost-effective extraction process. According to United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's 2019 assessment, the net worth of the natural gas in the Gaza Marine is estimated at $4.592 billion. These energy and financial resources could significantly contribute to poverty alleviation in the region. Despite international law stipulating the rights of occupied territories to develop and benefit from their natural resources, Israel persistently obstructs Palestinians from accessing and utilizing these resources. This ongoing interference constitutes a blatant violation of established international norms. In 2022, a renewed interest in advancing the development of the Gaza Marine Field emerged in the aftermath of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine and the destruction of Russia's Nord Stream pipeline, along with the global energy crisis supposedly triggered by sanctions on Russia. In response to these events, joint discussions were conducted among officials from Israel, the United States, Egypt, Jordan, and the Palestinian Authority to explore the project's feasibility. Prime Minister Netanyahu, following his re-election, gave the green light to the project. Notably, President Joe Biden and Egyptian government representatives exerted pressure on Israel to actively pursue the initiative. On June 18, 2023, Israel granted initial approval for the development of a gas field off the coast of Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu emphasized that progress would be contingent on preserving the State of Israel's security and diplomatic needs, with a commitment to coordinate with the Palestinian Authority and neighboring Egypt. Simultaneously, Hamas official Ismail Rudwan conveyed to Reuters, "We reaffirm that our people in Gaza have the rights to their natural resources." In the lead-up to the Hamas attacks on Israel on October 7th, the Pentagon initiated the construction of a troop facility in Israel's Negev desert with a budget of $35.8 million. Located approximately 20 miles from Gaza, the facility is purportedly designed as a radar site to surveil and monitor missile attacks on Israel. This base is a component of a secret U.S. military presence in Israel, as reported by The Intercept on October 27th. Since October 7th, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has expressed a clear intention for Israel to exert significant pressure on Palestinians in Gaza, aiming to encourage their relocation to the Sinai in Egypt by any means necessary, even resorting to lethal force. The people of Gaza, drawing parallels with the 1948 Nakba experienced by their grandparents, understand the grim reality that forceful removal from Palestinian land would make returning nearly impossible as Israel continued to destroy the Gaza settlement, killing thousands of innocent Palestinian people under the excuse of trying to wipe out Hamas. Despite the genocidal war on Palestinians, Israel persists in its plans for oil and gas exploration. On October 29th, Israel announced the awarding of 12 licenses for the exploration of additional offshore natural gas fields to 6 companies, including British Petroleum and Italian energy giant Eni. These developments underscore Israel's unwavering commitment to resource exploitation. Irrespective of the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the plight of the Palestinian people shares striking similarities with the struggles of indigenous tribes and nations around the hemisphere, who endured centuries of decimation under white settler colonialism. To try and sum up, it appears that from recent exposed international political maneuvers and corporate plans, it's obvious that controlling international factions seem to be deciding the fate of the world's future energy use by the means of war and genocide of innocent civilians in key areas around the globe. The manipulation of truth and biased media propaganda may be driving the world towards WW3 if neighboring countries in the Middle East, as well as sympathetic international governments, feel forced to step in to try stop the continued cruel genocidal policies being carried out on the Palestinian people and to what remains of their land. Thank you for watching the video.